Good morning, Laura.
Hi Paul, how are you?
Yeah, very good. I think it's Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, Friday today.
Yeah. How are you? How's
Yeah,
things?
I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, really good. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Are you keeping busy?
Yeah, trying to. Lots of homeschooling at the moment is happening in our house, but not today because it's the bank holiday, so that's nice. Nice break for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've known you, I guess, got to know you a little bit over the last year, 18 months or so. For those that don't know who you are and what you do, if you'd like to introduce your business, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the founder and managing director of OD Talent Solutions. We are a recruitment business. Usually I tell people what we don't do when they ask me what we do as a business because there's a lot of misconceptions around it. So we're not a recruitment agency, in that we don't do any temporary recruitment, so we don't have a database of temps that we move around, and our business model is very different. So we don't work on a percentage placement fee, we don't work on what we call a contingent basis. What we are really is an in-house recruitment team that you can switch on and off as you need. So we're certainly an outsourcing option. And the idea for the business really came because I was an in-house recruitment manager. I left to go and do contracting work, and was involved in a lot of recruitment project management, which I really loved, and thought I need to find a way to scale this up. And it kind of came to me that there are a lot of SMEs in the Southwest and across the UK really who don't have an in-house recruitment team. They don't necessarily need one, and then they're struggling to recruit some of the top talent that they should be able to recruit because they haven't got kind of the access to those skills. So that's where we kind of came up with our outsourced vacancy management package that we offer. So we can do everything really, from coaching hiring managers, helping create job specs, interview packs, obviously recruiting candidates, but we feel that what we offer is real value. We're more of an investment for a business rather than an overhead just to fill a role. We can help them with their in-house recruitment projects, but we can also, if they want to totally outsource, host their careers page and house an applicant tracking system for them as well. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Great. This is quite a different approach and nicely sort of positioned in terms of the businesses that you help. And what sort of typical businesses do you work with?
So we say really small to medium-sized businesses. The art really of recruitment is obviously you can be a specialist in certain areas of recruitment, and some very technical areas require that. But if we can elicit the right information, we can work in any industry. And part of the way our business model works is that we actually work in a real partnership. So in terms of industry, we work right across the board. We've tended to find so far that engineering firms have been a really good fit for us. And that's because I guess they maybe see some of the similar issues with the recruitment industry that we do. And then they see our solution as a thing that fixes that. And engineers tend to like problem solution, that makes sense for me. So yeah, we work across a range of industries, but we do work with a lot of engineering firms. But yeah, really our sweet spot is small to medium-sized businesses.
Brilliant. And it's nice to say, it's nice to have that variety of different sectors you work within as similar that we do. How's the business been sort of adapting with things and the industry as well on a local level for yourselves?
With the current crisis,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really tough. We as a business have been hit really hard. Permanent recruitment for small to medium-sized businesses has quite rightly been put on the back burner. A lot of businesses are kind of looking at survival mode, protecting their current employee base. In recruitment industry, the temporary recruitment has probably lifted because there may be certain industries where they need temporary staff. But certainly permanent recruitment, countrywide has been really put on hold. So, we've made use of the furlough scheme, which has been a great kind of lifeline for us from the government. But we're spending that time really to work on some development. Sean, who I know that is starting his level 3 diploma in recruitment. I've been trying to watch as many webinars and take part in as many online courses as I can. And that's really just so that when we go back working with our clients again, we have used that time to grow and develop and invest as much as we can. And then it just really offering some free advice to businesses. we do a recruitment health check. So I'm, offering those calls to any businesses to say, look, if you want to think about what can you be doing now to plan for your recruitment in the future, let's just have a conversation. I'm quite happy to do that. And also offering some free CV reviews for people who might find themselves out of work.
Brilliant.
Just really to keep my mind active at this time, outside of doing year 8 maths, which is not my favourite subject.
Oh God, yeah, I struggle with that as well. With R2, I'm kind of like, oh, ask your mum, Um, no, it's been great with seeing your business grow, and you've all, both of you, the team, and so you and Sean and other people have, seeing how you've always offered a lot of value and help to people, which has come across through your approach to the business in the local community. With the networking group that you set up, often that value extends, and that, unfortunately, obviously, like ourselves, that's kind of taken a bit of a back seat. But I've always been impressed by your marketing, how you come across with the business. It's very refreshing to see. In your kind of.
I think we all, the whole point of the business for me, was that we wanted to offer something that was truly, truly different. I'm sick and tired of going to parties and people saying, "What do you do?" And I say, "Well, I work in recruitment," and I'm feeling like I have to run away as soon as I've said it. Because actually there's some great recruiters out there. The traditional business model just drives a lot of poor behaviours. Which is why we entirely changed the business model, because if you pay your staff well, they're not highly commissioned, they're not pushing candidates for the sake of pushing candidates, or we don't determine our prices based on salary. So therefore, when we have a conversation with a client about actually the correct salary to pay is this, they can trust that advice because it doesn't affect our fee at all. And education is so important. The businesses in the southwest have such great offering, but often can struggle to recruit. They can't afford to pay Bristol prices, and if they're working on their employer branding and their offering, it makes our job easier than when we come in and talk about candidates and particular roles, because they've got to do that legwork before they want to begin recruiting. So that education piece is really important. But the networking events, we've absolutely loved it. Sean and I were talking recently and saying how much we're missing Taunton Breakfast Hub. Missing the breakfasts because they were amazing. Really missing it. But it's been a good way for us to kind of keep in touch with the business community. A lot of the people who attended those events, we're still in touch with now. LinkedIn, Twitter, and on the phone and email, which is really, really nice. And we look forward to getting back to it soon, hopefully.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, missing lots of people, lots of hugs. Missed you, with people that we've got to know. I want to ask you about, in terms of this has been a time for, I guess, employers to see more flexibility with home working, and we've had a chat before about we don't have we can't maybe offer the wages that London or Bristol or whatever can offer, but we've got an amazing place to live and bring up a family, etc. Have you seen a shift in terms of what employers are offering in terms of the normal 9-to-5 sort of package?
Yeah, so I often have these conversations with business owners, and they say to me, "Oh, we can't afford to offer the highest in our industry. We're a small organisation." And I talk to so many candidates, and actually, salary is ranking. It's not the first place for most candidates anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. And obviously, it's taken this crisis for some businesses to catch on to do this flexible working piece. And it'll be sad to see some of them go back to having everybody in the office all the time. And I do think there will be some organisations that will do that. But I hope what this crisis has done is taught people that, they can trust their employees to work from home and actually, give them that freedom and that work-life balance. And what they will give back in abundance is massive. But yeah, I'm certainly seeing more of a shift in that way. I think in some ways, because the way that we work is quite new, it's quite innovative, we tend to attract clients who are also quite forward thinking. So, it's not, we don't tend to have that conversation too much with them. They understand the importance of offering, you know, flexible working and work-life balance. And I guess in some ways we're quite choosy about the clients that we work with, because we want to put candidates into roles where they will be happy. You know, they will be cared for and looked after, because that's a huge part of our reputation. You know, we want to sell businesses in a way because we believe in them. You know, we become part of that business when we work with them, and we become an advocate for them. And it's really hard to advocate a business that you don't believe in. So we're very fortunate that a lot of our clients are already making good strides to, you know, have an employer brand where the culture is based on one of mutual trust and respect, and in turn with that comes this flexible working approach and the ability to work from home.
Yeah, well, that's really good to see, and you mentioned a really good point there about choosing who you work to, the businesses that align to your brand values and your ethos and how you work, and it is about attracting a like-minded people, isn't it? That it's a long-term relationship that you can help them and they can help you. And in the past, I've turned to people and said, I just don't think this is the right fit for us, because you know, you're not on the same page as where we want to be, and you know, maybe you should go down this route. And I think that is important to find the right people that you can, you know, that you can really be on the same page with in terms
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, we actually had a big client last year who we've been working with on a kind of a recruitment project basis embedded. And it was clear to me that the way things were going were not aligned with my belief in the way the world of recruitment should work. So when we were asked to extend, we had a really honest conversation with them to say, look, for this to be a success for you, you need somebody that believes in that vision, and that's not something that we would be able to deliver for you as well, because it's not the way that we see it working. Tough decision, you know, tough call, but you know, in the same way, I sit in with clients in interviews with candidates, and I've put candidates in front of our clients, seen them in interview and thought, this is not the right person for you, and had to say, look, having seen them face to face, I really don't think that this is the person that you should be employing. And I think people just value that level of honesty, and you know, you've got to help them make the right decision. And if they don't have the same kind of thoughts on recruitment as us, then we're not the right business to run it for them, are we? You know, there's plenty of other businesses out there that do recruitment that will have a similar vision to them. So that's the way we like to operate.
And that showcases, you know, the real expertise and value that you offer to a business, and in being able to do that and getting to know their culture and their ethos, and knowing the right, because obviously if you take somebody on that isn't the right person, that can maybe unsettle the team, it's hard to then remove that person out of that situation and kind of, you know, so that's where the real value comes in of you knowing that the right people for the right role, isn't it?
Yeah. It's huge. Yeah, it's hugely costly when you get it wrong. Not just costly financially, but you know, to upset the culture, especially we think we work with small to medium-sized businesses. You know, one person makes up a huge percentage of their team. So if they don't get it right, and we don't support them to get it right, you know, it could have a massively detrimental effect on everything really in the business. And equally for the candidate, you know, it's not right. We have to be honest with candidates and say, you know, this is exactly what you should expect when you come into an organisation, and almost allow them to you know, select themselves out of the process if it's not right for them, because if they're not your people, they are not right for you. And equally, you know, that works from a candidate's perspective. If that company is not right for you, it's not going to change to fit you. You need to go and find your tribe and where you belong, and somewhere that fits the things that are important to you. And that's what we talk to, you know, that's where the importance of employer branding comes in. You know, we talk to clients all the time about open up those curtains, let people see what it's like inside your business. You know, get on social media, talk about the fluffy stuff, because actually somebody might look at that and say, oh, that's my dream place to work, so I'm going to wait for a job to come up there. Or they might go, oh, I could never work somewhere like that. And then you never waste your time taking them down an interview process because they don't apply. But we enjoy working with the clients on things like that.
No, that's great and really really good to hear. And I mean, talking there about I often say to people is about showcasing the window on your world. That if people feel like they've already gone into your world and see parts of it. I mean, people look online and they see like, oh, there's the Google offices and they've got slides and bean bags, and oh, I'd love to work there, and and a pool table and this kind, whatever. But what I've learned from this process is that we're all people, we're all, we all have of lives, we've all got similar things going on, and ultimately it's about relationships and those people fitting in the right places, and businesses being much more authentic. I was talking to somebody else, being more authentic and honest, and say, that you can quickly get to, oh, this is what they're about. I instantly know, as a brand culture, they're this kind of business and they stand for X, Y, Z, and so that when you see the logo of that business, that you instantly have that response to it in terms of what they're about. And I think that's kind of really important, really.
Yeah.
That comes across.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I always say, I mean, if you've not heard me say this at some point when you meet me, I mean, most people will have heard it, recruitment is not HR. It's not. If I've ever been asked when I was looking for employment to do my CIPD, I was always like, this is not the organisation for me. Yes, I have to have an understanding of employment law. And yes, I have to recruit in a compliant way. But recruitment is actually marketing. People need to have touch points with your brand, and it's not your consumer brand, it's your employer brand. And that comes from treating your employees really, really well, because they are your biggest advocates about employer brand. And they say you have to have so many touch points. I think it's 8 or 9 touch points with a brand before you'll purchase any product. That could be for something like toothpaste. So imagine how many touch points you must have with an employer brand before you choose to make that leap and go and join them. So if you're an organisation out there who never talks about who you are, what you do, your culture, the benefits of working, people know nothing about you, they're not invested in you, and therefore you won't attract the best talent, because if your competitor's doing it better than you, that's where they're going to be. So it's, exactly the same way that you say about the logo, people need to see that logo in the context of being a candidate and go, I understand what that business is about, and I can see myself working for that business, and I can feel it, because it's an emotional connection.
No, I love that. I'm again excited. As I say, it is that. It is, you see, like, and you mentioned, it doesn't matter so much of what the service or product is of the business, because if you've got the culture right and you've got the people that are real advocates and love working there and that will be there for years. I watched a documentary about, I think it was Kellogg's years ago, and most of the staff had been there, for 30, 40 years, because they'd grown up with it and their dad had worked there and their mum had worked there. But it was more so the fact that of what it stood for, to be part of that brand, and that team. And I think that's, it's absolutely bang on that, and people understanding that's really, really important within a business culture.
And that will win every time over salary. Every time it will win over salary, and if culture and those values are important to you as a business, and then somebody is tempted away from those by a higher salary than your competitors, they weren't your person anyway. They weren't, whether you might be disappointed or not, they 100% weren't, because they didn't share the same values as you. And that's not to say that you should only employ carbon copies of everybody. I mean, we need a variety of people, personalities and everything within our business, we do. But your real core beliefs and those types of things, you need to find people that at least respect and understand that. That's why I'm very lucky. I have Sean, and Sean works for the business, but he is as much the heart and soul of the business as I am. His vision for recruitment is the same as my vision, and he's on the same mission as me, and we're on the same path together. And that's why it really works. And I want that for each of my clients as well. It's really, really important, and it makes every working day much easier.
Yeah, and then you've got, obviously, if you're thinking the same and you're both going towards the same way, you then feed off each other, and because you're excited and you energize each other, and you know, ideas form because of that. And then so that outwardly comes across really clearly that other people then want to part of that, be a part of that family, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see in these businesses. No, that's really really good point there, and lots of people can take lots from that. I wondered, with people having this sort of downtime and maybe reflecting on their current role within companies, do you think they'll, I don't know if this will or not, I'm just wondering, would you think there will be a big uptake in people wanting to change jobs now they've had some time to actually think, well, I don't actually enjoy this, or life's a bit too short? Do you think there will be that to some extent?
Yeah, possibly. I think, look, naturally in recruitment, we always see peaks in applications after summer holiday periods, Christmas periods, Easter bank holiday. You know, you always see a lift because any time or space away from a business or what you do every day always gives people headspace. Now, not everybody is going to have a revolutionary moment where they go, I'm going to totally change my career path. Some people are going to be forced to. You know, people coming out of the aviation and hospitality industry, you know, they're going to have to maybe think, well, I've been made redundant from that. There aren't an abundance of jobs there now. What can I do? So they'll be forced to. And yeah, I think a few people might have an epiphany moment. But I think the biggest change will be where people feel their employers have not treated them in the way that they wanted to have been treated in this. You know, be that because they couldn't, because they were in shock themselves and they didn't know what they were doing. But you know, I certainly think people will reassess and reevaluate and go, actually, where the chips were down, my employer really looked after me. You know, one of our clients sent a care package to each of their employees. The managing director delivered a chair personally to somebody's home to make sure they had the correct, you know, home working environment.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's some really great behaviours. So you know, there'll be the shining superstars like that, and then there'll be some people that, you know, were asked to take unpaid leave and their business didn't even, you know, pay them furlough pay. Those businesses will undoubtedly feel the pain. Yeah, undoubtedly.
And
Again,
I mean,
that comes down to culture and employer
yeah,
brand.
and a couple of national brands spring to mind that I'm sure, one a pub chain and a sports provider, which kind of spring to mind as two that, you know, that, yeah, people will remember that, you know, people will, not just the people that work there, that people that outwardly looking at these businesses and saying, that wasn't quite right, you know, and there are some lessons to be learned from there from some people. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it may take a while for us to see the reaction to that. You know, it's likely we'll be coming out of this in some kind of recession. So therefore, there might be a thing where people go, well, do you know what, any job will do for now. As the economy picks back up, the scars of this will remain. You know, I don't think any of us for the rest of our days will forget this, and nor should we. You know, we should take some real lessons from this. But those employees that may go back to work for these employers that didn't treat them how they should may go back, you know, initially. The pain may not be felt for 6 months to a year, but, you know, ultimately they will remember. You remember how people made you feel, don't you? You know, ultimately. Yeah. If people made you feel like you weren't valued or didn't take care of you, you know, you remember that.
Absolutely. Oh, it's been wonderful chatting to you today. We've covered some really nice points there, and it's great to see you're getting to know you and your business as it's taken off. So say hi to Sean.
I will do.
We'll see you all soon. I'm just going to finish now on the question I ask people, Laura, normally. So if you weren't in recruitment, what would you do differently, or what did you want to be when you were leaving school?
So when I was younger, I really wanted to be a vet. I absolutely love animals. I really, really wanted to be a vet. I did my work experience at a vet's, and it was brilliant. I kind of dropped out of school though. I had a few things going on when I was a teenager, and I left school. I didn't get any A levels, and I guess before that I'd really wanted to then go into marketing, and in the end, I ended up doing recruitment, which is kind of marketing anyway. I guess I was probably always destined to do that. But I would have really liked to have been a vet, I think, when I was young.
Oh, wonderful. Well, it's been lovely catching up with you, and I wish you continued success with the business, and hopefully see you very soon.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. All right, Laura, thanks a lot.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.